'Twas the night before Goutmas, and all through the fort, not a peep could be heard, except for one big snort.
Can you believe this, Jasper? For some reason, I just can't sleep tonight. Well, I suppose if I'm going to stay up, I might as well make something to drink. What the? SnortBucks? Where did this come from? Huh? What's going on out there? It must be those stupid kids again. What?
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow.
Nice, isn't it?
Ah! Who are you?
Just a cute pup in a sharp suit.
Oh.
Giddy up, let's go. Let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderful.
You know, I don't get it. Why would you all do something like this for me?
Tis the season, Phil. Don't worry about it. Here, have a SnortBucks coffee on the house.
Wow, now that's a robust coffee.
Well, we are the best beverage company.
You said it. Wait a minute. Dogs don't wear suits, and they don't talk. Oh no! Wah! Huh? No!
And so SnortBucks was had, but not by the king, for that salty delight is a detractor thing. Happy Goutmas to all from SnortBucks.
Season's greetings and happy holidays from everybody here at GTG Network and Productions, DSPNEWS, the Snort Report, SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons. That's a thing. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to 12 days of Goutmas, part of 25 days until Goutmas, or 25 days of Goutmas, part of the GTG Hallmark channel. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And hopefully you guys are all doing well. And let's see here, more fun times to be had. First and foremost, myself, I'm sure Chio is. I'm sure everybody's really happy with the newest holiday commercial for SnortBucks. Yet again, a massive thank you to Chio 18 for coming through, and I'm glad all you guys like it and whatnot. And you know. Bang! It's a holiday tradition here in a lot of ways. So by all means, yet again, big ups to all of you guys, big ups to Chio and whatnot. And we're all very glad that you guys like it and whatnot. It's incredibly well done, indeed. Big ups. What are we doing today? I'm sorry, like we're all over the place right now. Actually, I think this is going to be the last of the classics for this Goutmas, meaning that the last of the classic Snort Brunels that I've chosen. I chose 4 in particular of the vintage stuff, you know what I'm saying? Brought it up out of the cellar. Only for the holidays and whatnot. And don't worry, there'll be 4 more next year. So that's a thing. But I think this is the last one because everything else is either already recorded or at least posted. So yeah. So you guys are gonna love this. Y'all gonna love this. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go over the details of the breakup and future fundraising moving forward in the Snort Fort, with the mention of the lady friend who'll be moving into the pig pen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is vintage Christmas of 2017. Actually, this was on December 26th of 2017, but womp 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 womp. It'll be I think it'll be a fun watch, and I hope I should say that, but with the other four that I chose, it all kind of falls in line, so to speak. So if everything works out, praise be, this will be the last one, I think. Yeah, this will be last. Well, it actually should theoretically be second, third. Actually, it should be third, but I might make it last. On some Keith Sweat shit. Make it last forever. Anyway, yeah, I might this might be last. This might be last. Anywho, fun stuff to be had either which way. As you guys know, SnortBucks is always flowing, and it's on me because it's the holiday season, right? 'Tis the season, right, Phil? So that's a thing in itself. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get the board set up here. So, let's see here. Bloop. Here we go on that. Let's go ahead and set our video up. Ah, yes. Classic SnortBucks. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and give proper introductions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Oh, don't forget, all the links to the videos that I use will be down in the description under each video. It's a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with SnortBucks, DsPgaming. Details on the breakup, future fundraising for the moving of the lady friend into his pig pen. This is from December 26th of 2017. That's a thing. Hopefully you guys, yet again, hopefully you guys are all doing well. Next year, 2026, I haven't decided exactly when yet. Probably won't start my recording process until after the holidays, obviously. I will start to roll out some of these older videos onto the Fight Club channel, and we're going to go over them. We're going to look at it from with a 2026, well, 2025, 2026, so to speak. We're going to look at it with a new, from a new perspective, new coat of eyes, if you will. Some of you guys may have seen some of these older stuff. Some of you guys may have not. But either which way, some of this stuff is stuff that I had gone over years ago, so it'll give me certainly a second or a third look. And yet again, given what we know currently, we're going to apply our current knowledge and logic, and for me, just a refreshment course on a lot of this lore. And we're going to look back and we're going to apply it to the old shit. We're going to see what we can discover. Maybe I can get you guys to think of some new questions. Maybe I have some new questions of my own. So on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? It helps open up the conversation. So, without further ado, happy holidays yet again. Happy Goutmas, or early Goutmas, if you will. And here we go.
This is how to play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh my god. Sound good? Holy shit, is this real? Ladies and gentlemen, according to my Muxie, I just received a $1,000 tip. What? Thanks for the money, stupid fuck. From Santa Claus.
Okay, we got a problem already off bat. Now, if you guys have seen Tevin's rendition of this, I'm sure all of you have. I'm going to automatically assume that you have. Tevin actually explained how Mugsy works and how you can actually basically make fake tips, or you can test tips, I should say, within Mugsy, and no one would be able to tell the difference. You can do that with a lot of stuff, to be honest with you, especially now in our current day and age. So the thought process is either A, he faked this tip to try to get the ball rolling, or B, it was more than likely from what's Planet Jeff. More than likely, those are the two running theories and whatnot. Because remember, no one else can see it but Phil, and Phil knows that it didn't pop up for anybody else. Only DSP saw it. And you know, with $1,000 tip, you would think DSP is going to go on his phone. He's going to take a look. He said, "Oh well, it looks like it might be there. We'll come back to it later," and then it was never mentioned. So if it was a legitimate tip, you guys know how he is. You know how the happy pig in the blanket is, like he's got butter and fucking syrup being lathered all over him, and you know how enthusiastic he is. He had this little, you know, dopamine hit in the beginning, and then it completely faded away. So that's the prevailing theory on that. That is more than likely he faked it to go ahead and start the ball off, because he had already gotten a bunch of support in November. We went over that. And obviously we're getting into him talking about the fundraiser, which means we're going to get into the Emerald 7 thing, because as you guys know, at this particular point, King Tut or Tutmosis happened in August and September of 2017. So, you know what I'm saying, Emerald 7 is going to end up, you know, basically popping up, and then DSP will see that money in like late January, February, I think. So just to try to give you guys a rough timeline, it's very Spartan, but I do what I can. All right, here we go.
Wow. If this is legitimate, thank you. Really, thank you.
So sad. So sad. Oh, bow your heads to the greed. Holy shit. He lost his soul to the gout, and the price was cheap. Shit is cold on these Seattle streets, man. But that doesn't mean the thirst for greed is not twice as deep. It's 4 a.m. He's got to hit them gin tweets. You don't knock off this bag, well, in our current day and age, Cat and Jasper don't get to eat.
It's gross. It's for this.
If this is legitimate, I hope it is. I hope it's not some troll trying to commit fraud on PayPal with a credit card or whatever.
Oh, yeah. All the chargebacks back in those days. Yummy.
But if that is legitimate, I mean, holy shit.
Thank you very, 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 very much. It's greed. Wow. It's greed. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control. Anything for this, right?
Yep.
And I'll be honest, folks, this is something I've never talked about, all right? Behind the scenes, just so you guys know.
My relationship with my ex-girlfriend was not good, all right?
We're at a point in our relationship, and I'm not going to get too private because it's a very private situation. Let's just say this way. Over the years...
I think he meant to say he's not going to get too personal, but it is what it is. I misspeak too a lot, so it is what it is.
That we have been together. Things had changed dramatically in our lives. Things had changed dramatically with the quality of life. Relationships with our family.
Well, I mean, you kind of uprooted her from her family, and then for some reason, your penne stopped working, so you couldn't dick her down properly, and then you tried to turn her into basically a mom/maid, and then she wanted real commitment from you, and you never had any intention of marrying that chick. Matter of fact, he moved he moved Panda out there under false pretenses, because he said that the reason why he needed Panda to move out there with him, from Connecticut to Seattle, I should say, or to Washington State, is because he was planning on getting that supposed back surgery, right? And he was going to need someone to take care of him. Ironically enough, when people brought it up back in those days saying, hey, back when he was still in Connecticut, hey, why don't you just get the surgery there at home? Because I think supposedly his mother had the procedure, or maybe it was his father. I can't remember now. One of his parents allegedly had the procedure. Unless maybe it was like an aunt or something. I'm pretty sure one of his parents. He said one of his parents had the procedure, and they said that it kind of worked, it kind of didn't. But anyway, some people had asked, hey, why don't you just get the procedure done in Connecticut while you're at home and your parents are like 15 minutes away? They can take care of you. He came up with a bunch of fucking excuses, whatever. So he was going to have Panda take care of him if he had that surgery done out there in Washington. Now let's go ahead and think about the parameters of the situation first. One, that chick was like a toothpick. Like, there was no way she was gonna be able to haul your fucking carcass from bed to downstairs to let alone to the car. Two, she didn't have her license at that time. So, and I don't think DSP would have been smart enough to be like, hey, honey, you need to get your license before we start talking about anything. 3, he had financial problems as he was going out there, you know, when he moved out there anyway. So where was the money from the surgery going to come from, or for the surgery, I should say, was going to come from? On top of that, if you guys remember, and you guys know your lore, this idiot had to go to like 3 different banks until he could fucking get a loan. Like, that's how bad his shit was. You know what I mean? So he didn't have money for surgery. He didn't have money for any of this bullshit. He basically, and he's admitted it in later years, he squandered pretty much all of his money just to get into the house, or town's house, or condominium, whatever you want to call it, and to furnish the damn thing. He was basically, well, he was just short of flat broke after all of that. That's why he was so desperate to get John back, or get him back onto the content, so they could pick up where they left off. Not only were they supposed to be doing co-op, or co-op like gameplay, right? You know what I'm saying? Do it over PSN or Xbox or whatever. But then DSP had these fucking, ideas of having like a coast to coast show where he was going to talk about what was going on in Seattle, because supposedly him and Panda were going to go out there and actually see the sights and take in the culture and all that bullshit. And John was going to talk about what was going on the East Coast. And that never happened. So I want you to think about like what the financial situation was, and just the age gap in general, especially once she started working. And that's what really fucked him. We'll get into that as we move along. But what really screwed over DSP, Dark Side Phil Burnell, Dark Geppetto, is when she when Panda was given some reprieve from the Snort fort, basically the piggy spell, if you will, or the Gouty spell, or hypnosis, or the pignosis, if you will, kind of snapped. You know what I'm saying? She was fairly attractive. So she's out there around people her own age. You know what I'm saying? There are dudes sitting there looking at the merchandise and whatever. She's getting to talk to people. She's getting far more interaction, I should say, with real people. And she realized that, hey, I want more for myself. And if I'm out here working, then I deserve it, because I'm working towards it, or I'm working for it, or both. And that's what really fucked him. That's what really fucked him. On top of all the other suspect situations that happened after that. We'll get to that.
Put it that way. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that had happened to me that negatively affected my ex-girlfriend put a big strain on her. All right. In particular, the swatting incidents that happened in 2015, I know were a big game changer, because we went from basically 2 people who were like, man, we're just having fun and we're young and we can do whatever, you know.
You weren't young, but on top of that, they were both engaging with the bullshit as it pertains to the trolls. They were both literally standing arm in arm in that shit. So let's not act like either one of them were a victim in some of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even a thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Kingdom Hearts situation is a great example of that nonsense. On top of the swatting, for those of you who have seen it, I'm sure you guys all have, DSP took it as a joke. She was kind of a little bit flustered, but she didn't laugh that shit off. It is what it was. It wasn't until the next day when probably Brightside Viking or whoever started being like, hey, Phil, you could have really got killed. That's when DSP went into his infamous spiel that, you know what I'm saying? You guys tried to kill me. Any of you who have ever watched This Is How You Don't Play, or who have supported This Is How You Don't Play, you almost got me murdered. Yes, you. We'll go over that video later. That nonsense and all that bullshit. So it was all a laugh and a joke the first time. It was a minor inconvenience. You know, no big deal. Next day, oh, all you guys want to murder him. Or all of us wanted him to be murdered. Like, for real? All right, bro. And it wasn't even, yet again, and I know this is like an ongoing thing, but it wasn't even a swatting. That shit was a wellness check. That shit was a wellness check. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get his doors kicked in. You know what I'm saying? No one got fucking thrown on the ground or nothing. They were asked to come out by fucking, by microphone and shit, and they did. You can even hear the audio where he's like, honey, like you're talking to your daughter or something. We need to come outside. The officers tell us to come outside. Does that sound like a swatting to you? It's the most tame swatting I've ever heard.
Fun stuff out here now that we live together in Washington. And it basically became, man, now we're 2 people who basically people hate us. You know, I'm just trying to be on the internet having fun playing games every day. And we got people sending police to our house with guns drawn. And then they swatted my ex-girlfriend's father, okay, who had nothing whatsoever to do with any of our shit.
I don't know if there's any real evidence or proof of all that, so take that shit with a grain of salt. I don't see anybody going out of their way to go after PANDALEE's father. That seems a bit of a stretch. Now, keep in mind, it's the same Mongoloid, though, that didn't allow Panda to go to her brother's wedding because he wanted to stay at home and play Fallout, I want to tell you. It was Fallout. And came up with these and basically spilled his guts on where it was going to be at and when it was going to be. And saying that, oh, well, we can't go because we don't want the wedding to get ruined or people swatting it or people trolling it or whatever, so that's why we're not going to go. Now, under those pretenses and situations, if he really felt that way, he could have just sent her. Drop her off to the airport, let her fly out, spend a week with her family, and then pick her ass up when she fly back. But, you know, DSP don't want to spend no money on nothing, especially if he's not going to get to enjoy it. So instead, she missed her brother's wedding, and he basically ate shit on both fronts. Imagine that.
And then there were threats to swat her brother-in-law or her half-brother's wedding. And when that happened, it was like so messed up, all right? And honestly...
And he kind of encouraged that. Because he clearly didn't want to go, and he clearly didn't want her to go. So, because could you imagine this piece of garbage being by himself for a week? The house would have been in a fucking mess when she came back. So he had a lot of incentive to make sure that they had a reason not to go. So he could sit at home and play video games. Fuck.
You know, things were never the same. You know, when that kind of stuff happens and you have that tenseness, it screws up stuff, personal stuff in life and in a relationship. And
it wasn't a relationship. That's the part that Panda ended up discovering too little too late. It wasn't really a relationship and whatnot. Like, I guess they were just supposed to be like live-in roommates, like for the rest of her youth, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because he clearly was never going to marry her. He clearly he wasn't interested in having kids. So it's almost like he was trying to burn her out. Almost on some Dick Masterson shit with, what's that chick's name? 80s girl or whatever whatever her name is, that chick that he ended up marrying. That he'd been messing with for all them years or whatever. So until like she ended up popping up pregnant, then he had to marry her. I guess he thought that she was at her expiration date and he thought he was safe. Sorry, Dick, you weren't. So anyway, whatever. So I don't know if he was on that type of level of bullshit, but there was some fuckery going on for sure. There was some fuckery going on for sure.
And it was just so, because, you know, how are you ever going to have a safe life? How are you ever going to have a secure life? You know, you never know what's going to happen. What's the next financial crisis that's going to happen that's going to screw everything over? What's the next situation where your life might be threatened, right? And I can tell you right now, it was all those things that happened over the years that kind of soured everything behind the scenes. And in early 2017...
Here's the reality. They were living beyond their means, right? So DSP DSP was spending his money on fucking booze, on mobile games. He wasn't saving and whatnot. All that stuff is what pushed Panda to get a job in the first place. And ironically enough, same thing that pushed Kat to end up having to get a job. And she was wasting her youth. They weren't doing anything. They weren't really traveling. They weren't going nowhere. And then every time he was complaining about trolls, she had to hear that shit. If she wasn't on Twitter fucking fighting with them herself. So it was a toxic relationship, and you know what I'm saying? It's probably a good thing Panda got out of there when she did. That's the reality of it. But the fact that dude has abandonment issues, you see, like the trauma from Panda, from PANDALEE, it's visible. It's felt, I would say, even to this very day. Like, you can see how she has fundamentally changed him, wounded him, damaged him, if you will. It's all very, very apparent. So make of that as you will. I'm not saying that Kat's a complete and utter victim because she made a choice. But I understand why she looks the way she looks now. I can see DSP's hoof print all over that shit. I can see his insecurities, right? And yet again, his fear of abandonment. And I can see that fingerprint or that hoof print all over her on why she's at where she's at. And it all started with Kat. It all started when when her gym membership ran out and he wouldn't renew it, or he wouldn't let her renew it, whatever that story was.
All right. It was almost like we were living together, but we weren't a couple. It was more like we were living together as roommates. All right. And I know that sounds really fucked up, But that's really what, we were in a relationship for 5 years. We moved out here, and at first it was great. But over the years, this stuff degraded. As the trolling got worse and the things concretely got worse for us financially.
How is it the troll's fault that you couldn't dick Panda down? Like, how is it the troll's fault that you couldn't handle your business within that house? You're the older one. You're quite literally the adult and whatnot. And you're in this weird ass daddy daughter situation you had going, like you guys were the Thorntons or something, or whatever. Yeah, the Thorns, little Thorns, whatever. You know what I mean? You know who if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Like that was your guys' situation, kind of, sort of. I'm exaggerating. I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but you know what I mean. So what the fuck? Like, you're the adult and you couldn't handle your shit? That's your fault. That's your fault. You sold that chick a dream and she bought, and well, she bit, I should say, on that shit, and then she found out it wasn't what he thought it was. And yet again, one of the interesting parameters of that relationship, which he can't prove, he can only talk, but that's not proof, is the fact that Panda may have very well been his first. You know what I'm saying? And that explains why he acts the way he acts it explains why he comes across the way he comes across when it comes to sex or sexuality. It does actually make a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? You got an older man who lost his virginity, allegedly, to a far younger chick, right? And I don't know enough about Panda's past to say anything about anything, but I would probably guess that Phil wasn't Panda's first. So, you know what I'm saying? Someone, quote unquote, may have already broken her in. And so she essentially broke Phil in. And he just didn't... he didn't really adapt well. And then Phil is one of these fucking weirdo fucking dudes and shit that he may have thought in his first sexual experience, or sex in general, was the equivalent to what he sees in the pornos. And he found out very quickly that that's not what the case is. So that in itself, I should say, is probably a reason why he has what seems to be like a negative idea, or an uncomfortable, arrangement towards sex, to be honest with you. If you're fucking porn brained and shit and you've never actually had the real thing, once you finally do, you kind of realize it's not like what it's like in the movies, my guy. So there you go on that. I don't, that probably opens up to a much deeper discussion. That's just me talking. But still, it does kind of explain some stuff if you think about it.
And trolling with swatting and everything bad, that's really when things started to fall apart, okay? Honestly. And,
it's not necessarily that there was blame to be had. It wasn't like we were mad at each other
for the things that happened. It was just kind of like, what the fuck do you do? How are we going to have a normal life when we have these crazy things that happen in our lives? And every time...
You're a public figure and you put yourselves out there. Well, he put them out there, I should say. He put them all the way out there. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Like that whole situation with people finding the house in fucking Seattle, or in Renton, really, but in Washington. He dared motherfuckers to come find him, so they did. What do you think was going to happen? You don't sit there and play games like that with people. You knew you had a hate mob on you. You live chronically online. You know what I mean? What did you think was going to happen? You fucked around and you found out. If you were so scared, allegedly, of Evil AJ coming to your house and fucking murdering you over this is how you don't play, or because he made this is how you don't play, Evil AJ must have wanted to come to the Connecticut condo to fucking decapitate him and shit, right? What the fuck do you think was going to happen when you went to Washington? Especially since the very house that he lives in was one of the houses in their fucking condo tour videos. Dumbass. Just through the process of elimination, they were going to eventually find you. And I think they found him before he even moved in, if I remember correctly.
Every day we wake up, we might have another life-altering, stressful event that could fuck with us completely. Whether it's YouTube, something going on with YouTube and now I can't pay my bills, or whether it's getting DDoS attacked so I can't stream today, whether the cops are showing up, whether we're getting trolled in another way. You know what I mean? When every day is something incredibly nasty and stressful,
oh boy,
it screws with you mentally, physically, emotionally. It does. Even though I might not relate that to you guys on a daily basis, it takes its toll. And literally over years, what happened is
that is actually really fair. Like, I like a lot of people joke around. Well, maybe they weren't joking, actually, now I think about it. But there were a lot of people saying that, Panda was nothing more than a gold digger. And DSP just wanted a woman to take care of him so he looked like less of a loser than the people that follow him, because you are the tribe that you attract. And that's what it was. And that's what it is. It's an arrangement. The only difference is the second time around, he went with a chick a little bit older. You know what I mean? And someone who was, I would say, was far more desperate. So when you weigh Cat or Panda up against Cat, you can kind of see how, okay, with Cat, she's a little bit older, so I may not have to worry about the sex situation or trying to be intimate with her. She needs a place to stay desperately. I need someone to be in place to take care of me in the place itself. This is going to make a worthwhile relationship. I may do a video on this later on. I might bring some other people in just to give their input. That might actually be fun. Now I think about it. But anyway, I'll put that on the list. But they both had needs, right? Needs of convenience and needs that needed to be kind of serviced expediently. You know what I'm saying? Like expressly, like right away. They, you know what I'm saying? The process needed to be expedited as quickly as possible. And so it fit, at least for the time being. But in the long term, though, it fell apart. Just like the situation with Panda. That's all Cat is. Cat is Panda 2.0. You know what I'm saying? But what would have happened if he could have somehow, some way been able to keep Panda in pocket? If he could have had that pony, if he could have broke that pony a little sooner than he did. But he was never going to, just by her personality. You know, Cat and Panda have way different senses of personality and shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you could see why Cat was more, I don't want to say more obedient. I don't want to say that. But where she was probably more willing to be complacent and cooperate. You know what I mean? Panda was far more rebellious, and she may be able to work with him to an extent, but it's at the end of the day, she still wanted what she wanted. But then again, that may be me giving them too much credit or not giving them enough credit. So make of that what you will.
Relationship kind of just fell apart to the point where it wasn't like we were significant others anymore. Like I said, it was more like, yeah, we're here, we share a house, but we weren't getting along to a point where it was like an intimate relationship anymore.
Well, let's be honest, Cope tip. I mean, he was trying to pull his little 1 day a week bullshit like he does now. And then he said that he was going to take a second day off because she said that they weren't spending enough time together. But then you have he was still in his office for like, office in air quotes, like half of the day though, recording like the weekend preview and doing Patreon stuff. It's almost like he was trying to avoid her, to be honest. That's what it really seems like. Because I want to kind of say that, well, even in the few times that they maybe needed to be intimate or he felt that they should be intimate or whatever, it was more of a service call. You know what I'm saying? Hey, here's the penne, get to work. And then afterwards, don't touch me anymore. You know what I'm saying? What? You know what I mean? He kind of comes across like that. And that's a funny thing too. When you see Cat when she first got there, even now really, but when you see Cat when she first got there, and you know how like they have that really uncomfortable feeling, like when Phil tries to put his arm around her or caress her or whatever you want to call it, and you could tell it's really, really awkward. Like, yeah, you guys are like two people who barely know each other. I feel like that's what the situation was with him and Panda. I feel like when Panda tried to be intimate with him and whatnot, he damn near recoiled in fear. Evil laugh. Evil holiday laugh. It was almost like he recoiled in fear, or I would assume she saw him being incredibly uncomfortable. And I feel like she tried really, really hard to accommodate that. But after a while, I think she just came to the realization, yeah, you're a lost cause. So would Panda know if DSP is gay or not? Probably never know. But there's a reason why dude wasn't performing. You ain't sat there and chose a chick that young and you weren't going to do nothing with it? Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I do remember the census back in those days where, well, watching it in later on down the line, I should say, not in real time, where people were like, oh, look at DSP, he's a Chad because he had a chick that young and this and a third, and he didn't do anything with it. He didn't do anything with it at all. He let it go to waste. And I think that was by design. I think that was his insecurity speaking. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty confident he ain't disappointed Panda in the bedroom more than once. I'm sure Cat was on the other end of that too. That explains why Cat ballooned up the way she did, amongst other things. Just take it all in. Just take it all in.
Right?
It's not about the money. It's not.
So, behind the scenes of all this stuff going on, there was always this other thing going on emotionally between me and my ex-girlfriend that was kind of falling apart.
I have a micro penis.
Probably. that's probably one of the problems, I'm sure.
And then when I did the research, I found out that basically there's no way to make your dick grow.
And it just made
Yeah, that's a weird thing to be talking about. Like, I don't know. I don't know too many dudes who felt the need to do that shit, but whatever.
it would be one thing if, oh God, I got false copyright strikes today, and this happened and that. But then if you have someone who you can go fall into their arms at the end of the day and just feel good and feel supported, and you know, that's
So you ran to her and bitched and complained about trolls and it wore her down. Okay. There you go, Phil. Good job.
it's better. We didn't even have that. Like, that fell apart. And it's like when everything's falling apart.
Well, she was in the trenches with him, though. So it's not like she didn't know about the trolling. She was actively engaging in some of that shit. So it's not like she didn't have a full idea. I mean, once she started working, maybe some of that got scaled back. You would have to talk to like Tevin or Secret Limited or Agent Proper, like someone who really was in the trenches early on for some of that. But she was right there for the majority of that shit. So she saw a lot of it in real time.
Something's going to give at some point, all right? So all that's going on behind the scenes of early 2017.
Shout out. Shout out to Vidar, who took me 25.
Right side Viking. Vidal. Oh my God. Sergeant in Arms. By far the most loyal whale / pay pig, probably / confidant that he's ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like, by far. Not too many guys who are willing the front line like Brightside Viking did. You know what I'm saying? He took on the farms, which is what led to the blood gods and whatnot, because Vidal was over there threatening dudes' fucking families and all kinds of weird shit, which led to fucking people getting doxxed on King of Hate forums, as well as other nonsense and shit. He went up against, or he wanted a piece at the very least of Tevin at one time or another. He dropped the N-bomb hard R a couple times, you know what I'm saying, to try to exert his dominance. That didn't work out very well. He went up against the SOK a couple of times. that didn't work out great. I mean, Brightside Viking did a lot on top of all the money he gave him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the amount of money that Brightside Viking gave DSP over the span of years is in the hundreds of thousands, for sure. Like, he gave that dude a lot of money over those periods of time. Easily 6 figures. For sure. So, just to give you an idea, like, there's records, I can literally say this, that's kind of crazy that I'm saying it though, but there were literally records on like as pertains to Twitch contributions that Brightside Viking to this very day probably still holds. You know what I'm saying? There was definitely, go back and watch the old Tevin videos and whatnot, streams, back when DSP was over there and Brightside Viking was still in play. Brightside Viking was on top of all those categories. On all of them. He was on top of all of them and shit. Like, Swaggins would have never been able to get as far as he did if Brightside Viking didn't get the Blood Eagle treatment and got fucking betrayed the way he did. Holy shit. Holy shit. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Shit.
$. My girlfriend, it's Darth Vader Viking with a wig.
And a lot of people have asked me the question, Phil, how on earth could you get engaged to someone and then within a month break up with them? How can that happen? How could you have gotten engaged in April and then broke it off and, you know, ended the relationship in May? It doesn't even make sense. The truth of the matter, folks, and this is something I have not talked about until today, so big reveal here. The engagement was legit, but it really was a band-aid on an already broken relationship.
So then it wasn't legit. You gave her, goddamn, you're stupid. So it wasn't legit. You gave her the engagement ring after she was parading with a fake engagement ring that she got for herself for whatever months on end or whatever the case may be on that. But you gave her the engagement ring so you could keep the status quo, to keep her ass in pocket, to keep her suiting up every day. That's what it was. You never had any intention of marrying that chick, and I can prove that because we find out literally like a year later, right? Remember, this is late 2017. We find out in 2018. If it was 2019, I've done that video already. Let me see. Quick check. No, I'm right. It was 2018. Yeah, late 2018. He basically, somewhere in the fall of 2018, he puts a ring on Kat's finger But he literally says, hey, I don't think we're ever going to really be able to get married, but I'm giving you the ring. So, you know, at least we have that. At least we have each other. So he basically tried to pull the same scam that he pulled on Panda in haste. He tried to go ahead and be preemptive, quote unquote, and do it with Kat so she wouldn't leave. He never had any intentions of marrying Panda. You know what I'm saying? He was never going to fork up the money for it. They were never going to be able to take a honeymoon. He clearly never took Kat on one. So you see where that is. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the mistakes that he made with Panda, a bunch of them, you could see how he kind of tried to fix that shit with Panda or with Kat early on and whatnot. He tried to buck break her early. Be like, yo, our situation's really bad. We may never be able to get married. Here's this engagement ring, so on and so forth. Stay in pocket, soulmate, soul mom, whatever, whatever, significant other, yada, 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 yada. You happy? I'm happy. You're happy? I'm happy. Good. That's literally how he tried to play it. Oh my God, the madness. The absolute fucking madness.
All right. Already, we had multiple discussions where we were not happy with where we were. And we had wanted to, if you remember at that point, I made it so that instead of only having a half day where we run out and did errands together, instead I was taking a whole day.
See what I mean? Sorry. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. Evil holiday laugh. You see what I'm saying though? They say, like, I mean, keep in mind though too, he was occasionally taking full days off, but he was giving Panda only half days off. At least gets a full day. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, they're sitting on the fucking couch, listening to African music and on their phones or whatever the fuck, but at least she gets a full day. But fuck, Panda wasn't even getting that much. You know what I'm saying? He tried to limit the amount of time that she may end up having to tackle his ass to get that penne. He tried to limit the engagement as fucking short as possible. Holy shit, Phil. How'd you think you were gonna have a healthy relationship by only spending half a day with her a week? What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? He was giving more attention to he was prioritizing, let's say it that way. He was prioritizing the trolls, not the business. You know what I'm saying? He was prioritizing the trolls more than his own relationship. What does that tell you? Make it make sense?
So basically, my ex and I could spend personal time together and then run and do our errands and everything, so it would be a better day. But even then, we were taking days, and we would like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do? I really don't know. I'm stressed out. I really don't care. Well, then let's just fucking do whatever. And it wouldn't matter. It would be like a wasted day. We wouldn't do anything significant or anything fun together, because really, it was kind of like we were so stressed.
I mean, at least you were still with her, though, right? At least you guys were still together. Whatever. He said it was a waste of a day, so why should I make it seem more sentimental if he can't even do it?
Out about everything else, we just didn't care, and that was terrible, you know. So what ended up happening was I had purchased an engagement ring for my ex-girlfriend almost a full year beforehand. All right, and the plans that we had made were that, gee, if things finally get financially stable, we wanted to go to California.
Wait, is this you trying to attempt to get in front of the fake engagement ring she bought for herself? For shame, sir. For shame. For shame. You could have done better than that. Maybe you couldn't. Whatever.
Together, we wanted to do a mini vacation. It wasn't gonna be like a long.
How did you buy it? Like, where did you buy it from? You clearly didn't take her to a jeweler to get her sized. So how did you know what size her ring was? I mean, her ring finger was. And if that was the case, if she knew, let's say hypothetically, she knew or had an inkling that you bought an engagement ring for her, why didn't she ask to wear that instead of buying a fake one for herself? That's weird. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, none of that really makes any sense. So you got this chick running around at her job, flashing a fake engagement ring, even though allegedly you bought her a ring and you're just sitting on it. But you knew that you were never going to marry her anyway, so why didn't you just give her the ring just so she could stay in pocket? Instead of her having to be insecure around her friends and coworkers, and she had to get herself a fake one. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Whatever. Whatever. I'll delve into that later. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I love the old shit. Because now that you look at it with a fresh coat of paint, that shit don't make no sense. Like, some of this shit just seems wild the fuck out.
Expensive vacation. Maybe 2-3 days in California where we could go to like Universal Studios for a day or Disneyland for a day, and I would propose to her there. Okay.
Well, instead of doing that, matter of fact, why didn't you guys do that after the blow up on KO Gaming with Homefront the Revolution? Why didn't you guys go in to California then instead of spending what 4 days, 3 nights, or 5 days, 4 nights, whatever it was, in that staycation in Seattle, which was like a 30-minute drive anyway, or whatever. God damn, you're dumb. God damn, you're dumb.
And then it would be kind of a fun, magical event that we would remember for the rest of our lives.
In mid 2016, I accidentally streamed myself masturbating.
Speaking of which, there was, I'm not sure if most of you guys remember this. There was a time, I want to tell you, like James the Lesser might remember what I'm talking about, because I made a video around this time. James the Lesser might remember what I'm talking about, because I remember laughing about it with him around this time. I'm pretty sure it was during the Mario Sunshine playthrough, that begrudging one that he didn't want to play, right? It was in one of the early pre-streams where it seemed like DSP may have been caught masturbating again. For those of you who might remember, you might remember. Nothing was confirmed. It just sounded really strange behind behind the music of Mario Sunshine. I'll see if I can find it, because I think SnortBucks has it, and I think Mighty D has it as well. I think they both have their own rendition of it. I think Mr. Huff Stuff had it too. I think I don't know about David Davison, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Huff Stuff originally had it as well. But I'm pretty confident that SnortBucks and Mighty D may have it. If so, I'll try to find it, and I'll just add that to the list for the Fight Club channel. We'll go over it. If I'm right. Take that for a grain of salt, or with a grain of salt. But if I'm right, Himalayan pink salt, by the way. If that's a thing, we'll go over that for a quick laugh, because it was really, really brief, and it was completely up to speculation, but still pretty funny nonetheless. Speaking of which, I plan to go over, if I can still find them, and they should be still available, the Watch Mojo top 10 list, because I think DSP is in like 2 of those things. I'm gonna go look for those too. We'll go over that. Fun times to be had.
And yeah, it might be where we come back and we're not able to get married right away because of all the stressful financial stuff going on back home. But at least we're engaged and we can be happy that one day we're going to get married. And then it was kind of like, well...
So the same bag of Snorts that he literally tried to feed the cat until mommy and daddy stepped in and said, nah, you're marrying that chick now. And now you have no reason not to. And that leads to the shotgun wedding they had. And that's the shotgun wedding they had back in April 2019. So make of that what you will.
Time passes, more financial shit happens, we can't...
And if he really wanted to get married to Panda, why didn't he ask his parents to help him out with that? His parents helped him plan out, him and Kat's wedding in 2019. So why couldn't Panda get that in 2016? Makes you think.
Go. More stressful stuff happens. Now we're not going too good together. To the point where it was like the ring's just sitting here, and it's like, when's it gonna happen? I don't know. And I didn't just want, and one day I remember we just kind of sat down, we were laying in bed together, and we looked at each other, and...
So you sat down, or you were laying in bed? She wasn't on top of you, obviously, so make sure you got that part of the story right.
She said to me, you know what, you should just give me the ring, because we're never going to find a perfect time. It seems like this is our life now. Every day is just constant stress. You don't know if we're going to be able to pay the bills. We're probably never going to be able to go to California. Just give me the ring.
What kind of strain are you putting on some chick in her 20s like that anyway? That's your fault. Early 20s at that. Dumbass. God dog, bro. Like, you know what? I'm not sure if you guys follow Comicsgate. As you guys know, I am. Follow it pretty close. There was a time when Ethan Van Skyler, this is before his wife got sick, unfortunately. This is before his wife got sick. And he had talked about a story where his wife turns and looks at him, and she's like, hey, are we going to be okay? And he kind of was like, yeah, we're going to be fine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it falls that, and because things were kind of rough at that time, and Ethan was kind of still trying to get his flow together, amongst other things. And I guess it kind of falls into that category where a woman needs reassurance in the same way that a man needs validation. That's kind of what that situation is. And I've never been in that situation and whatnot, because Milk and Cookies has never had to look at me and ask me that question. But it just kind of goes to show, right? That like, it kind of goes to show that if you guys have strong communication, right? And if there's a real understanding, and if you guys are a real unit, you don't have to ask each other those questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it can't happen, right? But you don't have to do stuff like that. You know, that shouldn't happen. And something like that can be rather disheartening, right? You know, you don't ever want your spouse to ever think that there's a lack of that, you know, you don't want to ever know that they have a lack of confidence in you. You know what I mean? Or you have a lack of confidence in them. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? You really don't. And like I said, I remember Ethan kind of talking about this story kind of quickly and thinking to myself, God damn, that shit must have hurt. You know what I mean? And if you're DSP and you're looking at his sad little fucking piggy face now, you're kind of getting the idea of it. You know what I mean? You doing your dream job and then you doing what needs to be done to keep the machine going so you can work towards it. Two separate things. Something about it.
All right, so I did, you know, and it really was completely unromantic. And she put the ring on, and we took a picture for Instagram or whatever. And, you know, that's what I mean. Like, it really wasn't legitimately, it didn't seem like it was like a legit engagement because already.
Oh, the escort saga. Oh, it's going to be so much fun going back over that again. Oh, so much fuckery. Absolutely so much fuckery. I got to tell you real quick, I don't want to spoil it and whatnot, because like I said, we'll tackle that when we tackle it. But the biggest thing about the escort saga, well, there's a bunch of things. I have a bunch of questions, especially as the years have gone on. But one of the major things that always baffled me is the Medicare tweets, Mr. Medicare, like, or Jim. The Medicare tweets just sliding under the radar like that, given that there were so many people. Well, yeah, there still is. Medicare still has fans on this side of the fence. But the fact that there were so many Medicare fans who are detractors or who were, you know, watching detractor content at that time, and they missed the Kimberly tweets and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or the Capri, or what's it? Yeah, there's Kimberly Brinks, and then there was the Capri persona that was discovered by Medicare. And we missed. I don't know how all that stuff got missed. That shit's fucking strange. You know what I mean? And that right there, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that's in the King of Catfish video that Medicare made. If you go ahead and look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. And he actually lays out the whole situation. And Medicare admits that, yeah, I sat back for a month and basically watched all the bullshit unfold while he already had the case wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? He was literally on his Sherlock Holmes shit. I just never understood how the tweets, you know, fell through the cracks, though. I never understood that. And no one ever really brings that up. And I get it. It's like, you know, you can't miss what you don't know, I suppose. But that always kind of threw me off. That always threw me off how Medicare's tweets kind of just fell by the wayside like that. Anywho, c'est la vie, c'est la vie.
Things had been so falling apart. And a real, honestly, what it felt like was more of just, like I said, a band-aid. Things were already falling apart. Quick, let's get engaged and maybe things will magically become better. Well, no surprise. We had like 1 or 2 days that were better, and then things went right back to normal, where I was worried about financially, would I be able to pay everything? She had kind of more gone off and focused on her own life. She was real focused on her job at that point. She wanted to get promoted to her job and maybe go full-time.
Her own life? You just got engaged, retard. You guys live under the same house. What do you mean her own life? It's almost like you guys were just roommates. That's what it seems like. He kind of confirms it right here. Did you forget that you guys are a couple? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she can't follow her own ambitions. And that's how he should have worded it. He didn't do that. So make that make sense. I can see Panda lusting for that BBC. I can see that. You can all see it. That chick looks sex starved. Even back in the day, so no one's surprised by anything. No one's surprised by anything. Fucking A, Kat had that same look in her eyes too, for a while, until, like I said, until she got buck broken. Then it just died, slowly and sadly.
In which case, if she's working full-time and I'm working full-time, now we're not even going to see each other even less, right? And so behind the scenes, things just kept falling apart, all right? Now, I'm not going to tell you the full story, because there's a lot of other stuff that happened too. But basically, by late April, the whole relationship had fallen apart, all right?
Oh,
Within
man.
3 weeks of us getting engaged, the whole thing had just, you know, blown up to the point where we weren't getting along anymore. I was working.
It is funny though, because like, if you think about the story, he did get cut. Like, she clearly was talking to someone else at the very least. Because okay, so here's the thing. My theory is, my own personal theory is that she fuck. Okay, this is gonna get kind of convoluted. I think that DSP was talking to Kat, before we found out about that situation. First public time that DSP spoke to Kat was on Twitter. It was June 1st of 2017. My theory is he was actually talking to Kat, whether through Twitter DMs or whether through Instagram, before that. Here's my theory. Now, it's not all of it, so you're gonna have to kind of give me a little bit of leeway. Actually, you don't have to give me shit. Just take what I said and do what you will with it. I think he was talking to Kat before that public exchange they had over OBS. And that tweet is still available. You can still find that tweet on Twitter or X, whatever. I think that either Panda found out about it or Panda thought something was up, and she went ahead and was speaking to someone to try to get back at Phil. I think whatever, and then I'm gonna kind of leave it at that. And then she was like, you know what, fuck it, I can't take this anymore, after she had the anxiety attack and whatnot, or the panic attack. And then DSPN aired that shit the fuck out because he's a spiteful little bitch, and he was probably mad. He was mad, given the situation that may have happened with Panda. And then he later on told us that, hey, they had already been broken up. They've already been broken up for like 2 months, up to the time that the emergency, quote unquote, happened. And she decided to bounce. But before the emergency was even a situation, she was clearly going out and hanging out with friends, and she may have even been seeing someone, and she was using his car. And he didn't seem to care as long as she made it back at home in time to make din-din. Hey, she could go around and do whatever she needed to do or whatever she wanted to do, as long as dinner was on the table. So as far as I'm concerned, it was whatever of whatever. And DSP may not have even suspected anything. He may not have cared. Until he thought it could actually hurt him in the public eye, his ego. Then all of a sudden he wanted to be angry about shit. But we'll never really know. I'll flesh that theory out a bit more extensively later. But that's what I think. That's what I honestly think is what happened. And I honestly think he really thought she would never leave. Okay, maybe she'll be mad. Maybe she'll mingle or flirt with some people or whatever the fuck. But she'll never really leave him, because what's she gonna do? He had her completely isolated from any family that she had for years. And he probably looked at it as like, well, shit, you don't have the money to fly back. Because she's from Pennsylvania, I think. I think she's from Pennsylvania. And he's probably like, yo, you don't have the money to fly back. You have no choice but to deal with me. I'm your end-all be-all. Which is the reason why he took that chick across country in the first place. So she didn't have any way to get back. And she made her way. She was resourceful. He's been mad about that shit ever since.
And we would we would eat dinner together, and then we wouldn't even see, I would work again, and I wouldn't even see her because she would go to sleep because she had to work early in the morning. So I would be up at night watching stuff myself. We wouldn't even have significant time. It was like we were avoiding each other. Our schedules didn't even coincide anymore. So it really was like we were just roommates sharing a house rather than like.
You keep in mind, this mongoloid, you know what I'm saying? This fucking mental midget monkey could literally make his own schedule. He could have literally had crafted his schedule around her. Easy. And he chose not to. He expected her to do that.
An engaged couple. And basically we had a big blow up around the end of April, a big blow up.
That's when she threw it out, that she was getting dicked down by a better man, and you could never fill his shoes, let alone the condom, let alone anything else. And she basically said, thank you, fuck you, bye. And then DSP spent all those months gin-brained, pissed off. That led to the War Dog situation, which DSP hid all the evidence from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though supposedly War Dog was the one who was the real problem, which is not true. You know what I'm saying? War Dog gave him solid advice, super fucking solid advice. DSP was a dickhead. He was probably drunk that night anyway, and the days afterwards. So that led to that bullshit. And then he was secretly talking to fucking Cat behind the scenes and shit. He plotting to steal another man's horse. Make of it what you will.
To the point where it was kind of agreed upon that that was it, that it was over. But we knew exactly what would happen. If we announced this publicly to the world.
Worrying about the trolls. Worrying about the trolls. The trolls are always a priority. They are always there. They're always a thought to him. They're never too far from his mind at any given time. And that's why people say they live rent-free in his head. And they do. Very much so. They very much do live rent-free in his fucking head. You know what I'm saying? The Brunel high rise, you know what I'm saying? Or the whatever you want to call it, is live in full effect, and everybody has a room. Now, obviously, not everybody has the biggest rooms, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's very clear that, you know, Tevin probably has the presidential suite. You know, I'm sure, you know, some other guys up there, Secret Limited, and some of the other guys have really nice suites as well. But everybody has a room, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fucking it. I like to think of, to be honest with you, funny enough, I like to think of the I like to think of the mental high rise that's in DSP's head, similar to the hotel, I think it's called the Continental, from the John Wick series. I feel like if I had to imagine a hotel, not even a hotel, it's more of a resort, a hotel / resort, you know what I mean? A high-end hotel / resort. I imagine it's like that. I imagine that it's like that, to be honest. Kind of neat. It's kind of neat. And not everybody's necessarily friends or whatever, but there's at least some type of mutual respect, right? Whatever. So, you know, that's probably one of the few places where you don't get detractor on detractor crime. But outside of that, you know, it's open Crosby. But for the most part, though, I like to think it's that type of situation mentally. Holy shit. God damn, Phil. Even back then, you were prioritizing detractors. Amazing. Just amazing.
Especially after just getting engaged. More negativity, more snoops in our lives, more people trying to fuck with us and find private information and be just fucking nasty to us in general. So we kind of decided together we're not going to tell anyone. We're just going to pretend like we're still together, all right? Until a time when she's kind of moved out and things, you know, the truth of the matter was I didn't.
But that's not even what the situation is. That chick literally just picked up and left you. Now, keep in mind, it's also very possible that she gradually moved out over time. And, you know what I'm saying, picked up and left and whatever. It kind of makes a little bit of sense. She just didn't leave in the thief in the night because she was using his car, you know, to get to and from work and running errands. So it makes you think, who picked her up? Who was the one that came and got her that last time, right? When she finally was free of the snort fort. And I bring that up to bring this up. I want you to think about when she had the panic attack, right? Or the anxiety attack, whatever. When she had that situation, right? And DSP had said, oh, well, you know, she has friends, she has other people. Why didn't they come get her? Well, because, as pointed out by Tevin and others back in that time, you were on her emergency contact list, retard. So of course you were going to be the first person they call. You know what I mean? And that is, she wasn't in the greatest headspace, and they weren't going to go through her phone to find out, you know, who's the new boyfriend or whatever, who's sitting there batting 300 in that batter's box to come get her. So they went ahead and had your ass do it, which makes even more sense. Actually, it makes him even more of a cuck that you ain't sat there and you were forced to go ahead and get this chick and get your car. That's the real reason why he went. He went to go and get his car back. And you had to go and get her, and then you bitched at her in the hospital for multiple hours while you ate her food while she was damn near catatonic and whatnot. And she had, what, some crackers and some water, I think? Did you even give her the juice box, or did you eat that? I don't know. I have to go to the El Crimson King video to check that out. Big ups to El Crimson. And then you, on the way home, you got her some sandwiches, you gave her some more medication, and then you fucking put her ass to bed, and then you went and aired all your shit out online. The fuck are you talking about? We didn't want people in the public to know about what was going on with us, when he literally did a video airing out her fucking medical situation. And then his only retort was, oh, well, she put out a message on Instagram, and I asked her if I had permission to talk about it, so I did. What is wrong with you? You aired her out because you were mad at her. You aired her ass out because you were mad as fuck at her and you're a petty piece of garbage. That's what happened. And he did everything he could to protect his ego while he aired her out. That's the case of it. That's what really happened. That's what the situation was. He's a garbage. Jesus. Protect my privacy. Protect our privacy, my ass. Holy shit.
Tell you guys that I had broken up with my ex for like almost 2 whole months. after she was gone. So she had been gone for a while, and I was doing stuff by myself. And it was funny because I remember.
Yeah. Okay, so it was a panic attack. Yeah, but either way, panic attack, anxiety attack, they're different. Don't get me wrong. So I don't want to split hairs. But you get what my drift. But yeah, when he aired her out, that was probably the final straw because by far, that didn't need to be said. Whether she put a post out, a post in the hospital gown or not, that didn't need to be aired out. It wasn't a thing. Fucking A.
During that.
But the fact was, she was already almost out the door anyway. So he wanted his final jab at her on the way out.
Time period. All right. I was doing Twitch and Chill stream. Remember the Twitch and Chill events that I had been doing? So I was doing Twitch and Chill stuff. And while I was doing the Twitch and Chill stuff, people were being trolls. They were coming in and saying, haha, Leanna, and this and that. And I was already broken up with her for a while. So for me, honestly, it wasn't even stinging at all because it was like, you're insulting my ex who I haven't talked, I don't have that relationship with anymore. But people didn't know that. So people were coming in.
So you just toss 5 years away just like it don't like that bitch never meant nothing, huh? Like, you just didn't mean shit. Like, that chick had no worth to you whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more that you see that shit, the fucking more sickening that shit is. Holy shit, bro.
Purposely trying to be nasty to me, and it had no effect on me because already the relationship had kind of been over for a while, all right?
I'm a horrendous person. I'm all about myself.
Yeah, it all kind of fell apart in that regard. And it sucked. You know, it did, because it was funny. It was like when things were going bad with everything else, the relationship falls apart, and then things started to go good with business. Like,
by the way, I really desperately need the money to help with my tax situation. So, hint, hint, save the house.
like I told you guys, the streams were picking up. People were being positive again. There was growth on Twitch. And here I am trying to show a happy face every day. Having so much fun, streaming on Twitch. And then in real life, behind the scenes, everything was going wrong or had gone wrong. And it put a lot more stress on me because previously, the way that my life was I wake up, I spend some time with my ex-girlfriend, right? Whatever, setting up in the morning. I work, but then when my work's done, now we have a shared meal, so she's cooking or whatever.
A lot of the responsibilities of the house were shared. I know you're lying.
Yeah, that was a massive fucking lie. She did everything around the house. She did everything. And this is before she started working. And then afterwards, she still had to deal with her own responsibilities. So, bitch, go out there and make daddy some money and whatnot. But then when you get home, you still got the pig pen to fucking clean up. So get to work. Make sure Din Din's on the table on time.
And the rest of the board goes unselected.
I had more income because her income was contributing to the house budget and everything. And then when we broke up,
told you, he was hoeing her ass out. He was hoeing her ass out.
Less money, no one cooking for me anymore. It was basically a giant, no moral support. That was the other thing. If anything went wrong, I was on my own. I, didn't have anyone, again, which it's one thing.
You just said that you guys were broken up for 2 months. So what the fuck are you talking about? And on top of that, it makes me think. So she was there for 2 months. Were you still demanding her to contribute until she left? Think about what he's saying. No one was cooking for her or for him. No extra income, no moral support. Were you still like wanting her to cuddle with you? Like, even though you guys were broken up on some Amberlynn Reed crazy weird ass shit, like what she used to do with Destiny? We'll get to that another time. Were you still demanding her to throw money up in those last 2 months and shit? And we already know that she was cooking dinner, so we don't even have to worry about that. We already know Din Din was on the table on time, so that is what that is. Yikes!
When things go wrong, but you have someone to go to at night to have moral support and have someone physically be there for you.
Yeah, but you guys were broken up for 2 months, so you didn't have that. So why are you still worried about it? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend.
To encourage you, and that completely went away from me. And it was devastating. But I couldn't tell anyone. Because if I did, I knew the negativity that would explode on the internet when all this was happening.
Devour.
Yeah, there you go. Wash it down. Cope sip.
All that happens, and remember, during the months of April, May, June, my streams are going good. People are coming out for my streams and really enjoying the streams and everything, right?
On top of all the begging that was going on at the time.
And,
and Twitch loving him and his streams. Let's not forget about that.
It's amazingly positive, but behind the scenes, my life is a mess. I'm alone. I'll be honest, guys, I started drinking.
Oh, yeah, we know. We know. There was times for those of you who may not remember this, I'm sure some of you guys do. There was times where dude was so fucking hungover he couldn't even show up to the streams. Like, you know what I'm saying? He had drunk himself stupid. He couldn't even come to the first streams. Like, the early streams didn't happen. At first, they were just pushed back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then he just wouldn't show up to the first stream at all. He would just show up to the evening stream. And then you have whatever cockamamie story that he had or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? And then, for those who know, you know, this idiot wouldn't even want to leave his house during the day. So he did all of his shopping. He did his haircuts. He did all that stuff in the evening. And it makes you think, the fuck were you hiding from, man? That under the cover of darkness, the great Piggy Avenger, the Dark Piggy Knight, can only come out at night to get shit done. He didn't want to leave his house at all during the day. It was always in the evening. Holy shit. Dude, some of you may remember this. You remember the bitch fit that he had when Curls and Twirls, or whatever the place is called, moved from, they used to be much closer back in the day. But then they end up moving a little further out, or that shop ended up getting closed, or they turned it into something else. They had to move further out. So he bitched about how his commute was going to be a little bit longer. And yet again, he's going in the evening, or damn near evening, to get his haircut done, as well as run all the rest of his errands. Oh, fun stuff to be had, boy. Silly shit.
Which you shouldn't do, especially when you're depressed. But I did. I started drinking.
And then he was saying, I remember this. This shit's gonna be funny. Then this idiot was like, people were in the fucking chat, right, on Twitch, was like, oh, well, you know, when are you gonna start dating again? When are you gonna go out and do stuff? Oh, well, you know, I'd like to, but you know, women go to bed at night. You know what I'm saying? Women need to get sleep and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. What the fuck you was saying around that time? Oh man, just unrealistic, like, expectations and shit, right? Absolutely unrealistic expectations, which yet again, ladies and gentlemen, further strengthens my theory that Panda was his first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Panda was the one that took his piggy cherry from him and shit and whatnot, and took apparently a whole lot more than that. And, you know, Cat got fucking left with the husk. You could call it sloppy seconds if you want, but that would mean that he actually did something for it to be sloppy. Whatever. So it is what it is. Like, he was a fucking weirdo back in those days, man. the period of time between Panda leaving his ass and Cat moving in was a strange time, ladies and gentlemen. A strange time. And I hope to bring all of that to you. Yeah, boy. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to be a professional about this. Oh, man. I need some water. Got me coughing.
Way more than a person should. At night, I was getting drunk every night. I was having some issues getting to stream some days because I was feeling so depressed.
There's people who depend on me. There's people who, they find me, I mean, I believe, as an inspiration.
Over losing a relationship behind the scenes and everything, and not being able to share that with you guys, right, was another major thing. Really, the only people who knew about it were my parents. And what are they going to do? They live on the other side of the country. It's not like they could be there for any kind of support besides just telling me, you know, we're sorry that what happened or whatever, and we're going to stick up.
We're sorry for what happened. We'll stick up for you. I was like, you got cheated on, champ. And then, of course, he leaned on his parents for even more money. So that weekly stipend that he was already finessing their asses for went up. Peep game, ladies and gentlemen. Peep game.
Basically, just keep plugging forward and life will get better for you, you know? As much as a parent could. So all that happening, right? And if you guys remember, you know, it basically what ended up happening was Leanna was doing very little stuff on the internet, or what she did was kind of stuff to mask the fact that we had broken up. And all of a sudden, she started posting pictures from, like, her new place, a cat that lived with her and stuff like that.
I honestly think you did that. I honestly think the reason why Jasper even came into the picture was so he could retaliate against Panda. I've always thought that. Jasper was just another, oh, well, you have a cat, well, I can get a cat too. And to back that up, look at how the situation with Kino Casino was. While he was with Kino Casino, he was trying to emulate them. As soon as he got kicked to the curb on that, or he snaked them, or whatever you want to call it, and he's over there with Asmongold, now he has this little L-shaped fucking command center, and he's got all this bullshit, like, you know, he's trying to emulate Asmongold. That's what he does. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's just me though. Maybe I'm just saying that because he's petty because I'm petty, but that's my thoughts. That's what I think.
that. And people were like, Phil doesn't have a cat. What is this, a picture? You know what I mean? Now, keep in mind, this was months after. Oh, by the way, the one thing that I forgot to mention, all right? The one thing I forgot to mention was when my ex-girlfriend had a situation at work where she had a panic attack, and I had to leave a stream and rush to the hospital, all right? That had happened.
You know what this, I don't even know why he's skirting over this. Actually, I lied. I know why he's skirting over this, because of how bad it makes him look, and that was the final straw that got her up and out of there. That's the reason why he's kind of glossing over that shit, but he needs to hit it now, because Lord knows he wanted to, when Tevin goes ahead and reacted to this shit later, that was going to be one of the first things he brings up, and for good reason, because it was really the catalyst for why this whole shit finally ended.
Already broken up, and she was already in the process of moving out of the house and everything when that happened, all right? And so for me, I was kind of like in a messed up mindset where, oh no, I had to leave in the middle of a stream and people wanted to know what the hell. It was a family emergency, and I told people what happened. And some people took that the wrong way. Oh my God, Phil's telling people about his girlfriend's private business and all of that, all right? At that point, there was...
He didn't give a fuck. He literally like, yo, that bitch was useless to me. And yet again, that's why I said earlier, he really went out there just to get his car back. That's really the only thing he gave a fuck about. He didn't give a shit about anything else. Hey, you're going to use my car to go to work. Hey, you're going to use my car to cuck me or whatever. Whatever. As long as Din Din's on the table and as long as my clothes are washed, because he didn't know how to use the... This idiot didn't know how to use the washer. He was 35 years old, didn't know how to use the washing machine. That shit that kills me. That kills me. That killed me back then. But it kills me even more now. 35 years old and didn't know how to use a washing machine. Holy fuck. And whatever he was washing that still didn't come out clean, he just threw it away. Oh my Christ. Because he didn't figure out to use the washing machine. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. I know we think about May 1st, and there's all kinds of other iconic moments in DSP history, right? There's plenty of it. And whatnot. But I'll never forget the fact that he was 35 years old. He was 35 years old and he didn't know how to use a washing machine. I'll never forget that. There'll never be anything that he'll ever be able to say or do that'll cause me to forget that shit. Oh my God. What is this piece of shit?
Already so much fucked up stuff. I'm not gonna get into it because there's some real fucked up stuff that happened between me and her before that day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She found a better man to dick her down and it was gonna treat her right, and you got left holding the bag. Womp womp. But as long as Din Din was on the table on time, who gives a shit, right? Right?
That had really gotten to me, all right? And basically there was some very hurtful things that had happened to me.
Oh, there's a very hurtful things that happened to me.
You don't want to be butt fucked. Trust me.
And I wasn't in the right mindset. And no, in retrospect, should I have come back that day and immediately told everyone, oh, the reason that I had to leave my stream earlier today was because, my girlfriend had a panic attack and had to be rushed to the hospital, and then I had to go there to help her or whatever. No, probably I shouldn't have done that.
Probably you shouldn't have done it. But remember, she wasn't his girlfriend for like the 2 months prior. You know what I'm saying? So what fucks did he give? None, obviously. That's why he did it. Even though he also said, well, I asked her for permission, remember? For those of you who remember the story. Remember, after they got discharged from the hospital and shit, he asked if she wanted something to eat. She's like, yeah, sure. And whatever. They go by someplace, they grab a couple of chicken sandwiches, and they go upstairs, and she's like, well, I guess you're going to go on stream and talk about it. Well, yeah, I was thinking about it. Are you okay with that? And he's like, yeah, sure, fine. And then she goes off to bed. That's literally what the story was. Not verbatim, but you know what I mean? It's enough. It's close enough, if you will, and whatnot. So it's funny how we're saying this shit now, but originally he said he had permission to do it. Make it make sense.
At the same time, you guys didn't know she wasn't my girlfriend anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know that. So you thought, oh, how am I mistreating my girlfriend? In reality, she wasn't.
So that just made it okay to air her ass out. Okay, fair enough.
It was actually...
She was still cleaning the house. She was still washing his clothes. She was still cooking his fucking meals. But you couldn't even give the maid that much respect. Even on her way out, you couldn't give the maid that much respect. Okay, fair enough. Fuck the help, right?
Someone who I was not really on good terms with, okay?
Which is ironic because that's ironic because he couldn't even fuck the help. Just, I'm petty.
And she was in the process of moving out and everything at that point. So really hurtful stuff had happened between us recently that I was not in a good mindset in regards to her. Quite frankly.
I didn't have to go to the hospital all that day.
Wow, he just admitted what he did was wrong. He probably shouldn't have done it. This, that, and the third. And he, obviously, he made himself look like a piece of shit because he is a piece of shit. But then he finishes with, well, hey, I didn't have to go and get that bitch anyway. You know what I'm saying? I did her a favor. I did her a solid. Like I said, the more you hear it, like I said, we'll tackle this again later. But boy, the more it sounds off, the more it sounds like he got cheated on. And he just accepted it. As long as his way of life was still preserved. He wasn't fucking her. So that doesn't matter. So panty time is completely out of the way. If anything, that was probably more to his benefit. He was probably actually happy about that. So yet again, as long as the house is clean, the clothes are washed, din-din's on the table, what did he have to lose? He was barely driving around that time anyway. So yet again, what did he have to lose? So he was okay with having the comfort of normality, if you will. And if she's off running the streets, doing whatever she's doing, then it is what it is. Sorry, I don't mean to make it sound like that, running the streets, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? She creeping around. as long as it's not in his face, he's probably okay with it. Which is ironic. Oh shit, I'm gonna be petty as fuck. Which is ironic because DSP has admitted that his mother and father, Dave and Linda, were cheating on each other during their relationship, or during their marriage. Sorry. So for him, as long as the normality in the home still stays intact, whatever. Something to think about.
I didn't, because she was already had friends and stuff that could have helped her.
But apparently she had told the people at work that she wanted me to go to the hospital to get her.
That's more likely not what happened. Like I said, they looked at her contact list. They knew she was dating him. It is what it was.
I don't know the full story. The bottom line is, I went to the hospital and basically she was like, yeah, you're here, whatever. And,
The way he looking up and off to the side, you could tell it didn't happen that way. But whatever. Whatever he has to do to make himself seem like the victim.
Okay.
Minus the chick that's in the fucking bed.
Take me home. And that was it. And then she was gone. Within another couple of days, she had completely moved out.
I'm good at lying.
So it's funny because, people are so mad at me. And, oh, did you hear what Phil did to his girlfriend? She had a panic attack and he told the world about it. That's mental illness and you shouldn't have exposed. In reality, that wasn't the case. In reality, I was in the wrong mindset because of the breakup.
So it was mental illness? So because she was mentally ill at that time, right? And she was going through a problem mentally, you thought, oh, well, I have depression, I have mental illness, so I'm going to use that as my shield? God damn, you're a sick little monkey. Holy fuck, bro.
Already happened, and she was already on the way out the door. But in reality, no, I probably shouldn't have said that publicly to everyone.
I probably shouldn't have said that, even though he allegedly asked her for permission to talk about it, and she said, yeah, sure, whatever. He's forgetting that part of the story, but whatever. That's literally in the emergency stream. Like, holy shit, you fucking dumbass.
On the internet. Although, the same day, she posted up pictures on the internet about, yeah, I was in the hospital and I'm okay and everything. So, already she had told the world too, so it wasn't like she had...
Did she go into detail and say why she was in the hospital? Or she just said she was in the... That's not consent, Phil. That's not consent, but whatever.
There was no... She was angry at me for doing it or anything like that. Let's put it that way.
How do you know? You guys weren't even really talking. So how the fuck... And more importantly than that, she was all medicated up. So how would you know nor care anything about anything that she felt? Whatever.
You have to be so dumb to
Indeed.
believe this shit.
Indeed.
YOLO Dopper did a 10-bit cheer and he says, do you think that the trolls had a bigger effect on your relationship or was it the financial situation?
It was the detractors. It was the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. For sure. Because that's his ego. Because that's his ego. And his ego is the priority over money.
Honestly, both. Because you guys don't realize it's the same.
And honestly, if you want to go with the gold digger narrative, if Panda was more about the money and he was more about his ego, that's just naturally going to, it's going to clash anyway. So, or collide. It's probably what I should say. Either which way. You know what I'm saying? The unstoppable ego against the irremovable fucking greed or whatever. So make of that what you want.
I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
The trolls caused the financial situation. Like, when I moved out here in 2014...
You were in a bad spot financially already.
I was making a certain amount of money, okay? Yes, it went down when YouTube changed all their algorithms, and therefore my videos stopped showing up in related videos or whatever. But it was
It wasn't the fact that, well, wait, no, he hasn't deleted all those videos yet. That was 2015. But yet again, that just proves what I've been saying before and others as well, that his income was already different from YouTube anyway. That's why he was going through all those contract negotiations. That's why right before he moved from Connecticut to Washington, the last negotiation he had before he moved, he basically begged them not to cut his pay or his pay rate or whatever, because he was about to make a move. He had all these new changes and stuff that he was looking to implement, and he basically promised them that the content will get better. And they were like, and they basically showed his ass pity, which is crazy now that I think about that in hindsight. You literally begged Machinima not to cut your contract short, and you promised them that things were going to get better, which bleeds into, it bleeds. You know what I'm saying? Because if it leads, it bleeds. It bleeds into why he blames the detractors for his downfall, even before the false copyright claims, because he had sat there and made a promise to Machinima that shit was going to get better and his views were going to eventually go up. But they already saw the writing on the wall. So womp, 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 womp. But I'm still not done. But wait, there's more. Then look at the situation with John and Howard. John in particular. And his desperation to get John back. Don't look at me while I'm fucking talking, bitch. Don't look at me like that, Phil. The fuck's wrong? Smack the shit out your snout. Think about how desperate he was with fucking John and Howard, mainly John, and how he wanted to get him back in pocket. He wanted to get the co-op gameplay, if not streams, but at least gameplay going. Why he was so desperate to get the coast to coast shows to start back up. Why he was so desperate to get Smart Guys going. You see what I'm saying? If you think about it, 30 to 40% of the quote unquote Brunel Enterprises fucking business plan was hinged on John. Wow. And then let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Let me give you guys something a little bit more current. Look at the situation with Wings. Look at how he's harassing him and shit, sending him troll donations, under troll videos, trying to get them riled up and shit, like he's trying to use them to bully Wings, or he's doing that to get Wings to confront him and actually talk to him, and whatever. He thinks he's basically trying to do the Asmongold situation all over again, which is kind of funny because that shit didn't work for fucking low tier God. So why the fuck would it work on Wings? Oh, because you think Wings is weaker. Well, he is. I mean, he's weaker than LTG. I don't think he's weaker than you, but he's definitely weaker than LTG. And so he thought he could play that same scam with him, and it didn't work. Wings just shut down. And that's what Wings does when he's emotionally put into a situation that he don't want to deal with. He shuts down. LTG ignores, Wings shuts down, and DSP just fucking whole fucking time and shit until, I don't know, until he feels better and shit with his next shot or whatever. It is what it is. Damn. It's kind of crazy now you think about it.
It wasn't until mid-2015 when the false copyright strikes forced me to remove videos from YouTube, all those pre-streams that were using fan art, that my YouTube channels completely plummeted and I no longer got any natural...
I thought you said that YouTube told Machinima to tell you... Well, sorry. I thought YouTube told you to delete those videos. Now he's saying that he was forced to remove them. But I thought YouTube told you to... I thought YouTube told you to get rid of them. Because you couldn't get a hold of Machinima. Whatever. We'll tackle that later too.
Organic viewership from YouTube. Instead, it was just my hardcore fans watching my stuff, and that was it. So every year, you know, I would get, especially at the end of the year, I would usually get a giant spike in views just from people searching for the new games. I didn't even show up in YouTube.
Fuck, he's his greatest detractor. DSP is by far, by leaps and bounds, he is his greatest detractor. It's not Fred Fox. It's not Almighty Tevin. It's not Secret Limited. It's not The Outsider. It's not Snort Brunel. It's whoever your favorite detractor is. No, DSP is at the top of the motherfucking heap. He is by far his greatest, most effective, most destructive detractor. By far. By far. And I will stand on that till the end. Till the casket drops. I will stand on that. Whether it's his casket or mine, I will stand on it. For sure. 10 toes all day.
Search anymore in 2015 because I had to delete those videos because of the false copyright strikes. So the trolls caused the financial difficulties. Now, the trolls also swatted me, DDoS attacked me, attacked my ex-girl, my girlfriend at the time, I guess I should say.
What about when, wait a second, what about after the Be Awesome One situation and you basically threatened to come across the pond, so to speak, and go after him? Oh, because it was retaliation, you thought that was a good thing? What about that? Whatever. Whatever. Pick up the Be Awesome One.
Everywhere. It was constant.
What
It
about
was
that
literally
silly shit?
constant abuse. Everywhere we looked, there was abuse everywhere. And every opportunity that I had to do something positive, they would have...
The story behind those copyright claims, though, is pretty interesting, though. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of interesting and whatnot, like how SOK had their hands in that shit and how everything else. It's an interesting story. I'll say that. It is a very interesting story. Holy shit.
Like I said, oh, I'm going to move to a new partnership company, attack the company. So now I can't be partnered with them anymore. It was like my whole life.
And I think Jackie Chan was wrapped up in there too a little bit too. I'll have to go back and look now. There were some players on the board. There was an interesting chess game with DSP being obviously the pawn being used at that time. It was an interesting situation.
Life was permeated with negativity from this element, from these fucking people who literally made it their life's dedication to hurt me and my girlfriend at the time and my family and everyone around me. For what? What did I ever do?
If you act like an idiot, you're going to be treated like one.
Facts. Facts.
So the answer to your question is both, because the trolls caused the financial situation. Yes. Have I made bad financial decisions? Absolutely. But I would never be in the situation I'm in right now financially if it weren't for the trolls completely destroying my YouTube business. That's the bottom line. My YouTube business was destroyed by troll activities between the years of 2015 to 2016. It's just fact.
If he had let Machinima do their cope sip, well, we're not actually at the cope sip yet, but if he had let Machinima do their damn job, that situation wouldn't have happened the way it did, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, the final result wasn't what the individuals involved thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, DSP overreacted, as he usually does, because he's a reactionary bitch. And what happened is what happened. End of story.
So, mid-2017, behind the scenes, things have fallen apart. I've broken up with my girlfriend of 5 years, my fiance of a few weeks, who then I broke up with. But to the face of everyone, right? To what you guys are seeing, everything's going good. I'm trying to put on this happy face every day, all right, to the public. Even though behind the scenes, I'm depressed, I'm drinking, I'm not doing well, all right? I wasn't. My whole schedule was fucked up. I couldn't fall asleep anymore. I was up till 5, 6 in the morning some days, and then getting up at like
10 o'clock.
10, 11 to work.
Well, a little bit past 10 o'clock, I should say, but you get it.
And I was drinking at night, which isn't good. I was basically in a real bad place, all right? So, all this is going on, and then, randomly, I meet someone. And I'm not going to give you guys the details, all right? I'm just not going to give you any personal details.
Don't worry, then I'll just go ahead and make my own assumptions. You know what I'm saying? The victor's right history anyway. And that's why I'm really, really wanting to go back and look at that timeline. Well, good. I'm gonna have to bring out the whiteboard or the blackboard. I may switch between the two. You know what I'm saying? And whatever. And I'll establish the timeline and we'll go through it and whatnot. And we'll even add to it because you know what I mean. I'm gonna miss shit and whatever. But it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. Like I said, I'll reach out to some people. We'll see if some people want to contribute to the situation or whatever. But if you really look at that timeline, I honestly think he was talking to Kat before Panda left. And if anything, that could have very well been the catalyst, or at least one of them, to be honest. I don't think that's solely the reason, but because trust me, there was a lot of there was a lot of things in that fire around that time. But I don't think I'm too far off. We'll see.
Or whatever about how any of this stuff came to fruition, because you know what's going to happen. The more information I give is the more fuel for the assholes, and the more that they'll try to hunt down personal information and hurt me.
Why am I toxic?
I'm not going to give you any personal information. What I will tell you is this. Over the summer of 2017, I met someone.
I hired an escort to come visit me during my Christmas break. I paid her thousands of dollars.
Now, this person was someone who I just started talking with on a daily basis. I was going through a really tough time. Incidentally.
Now, keep in mind, that whole relationship with Kat before they moved in with each other was completely and utterly done through text and DMs. He never spoke to her on the phone once, as far as we know. Now, allegedly, actually, let me catch myself. Allegedly, he talked to her Christmas morning before he talked to his parents. but he had admitted pretty much that the whole time that they were talking, it was by text. And actually, James Lester, I know James Lester has this, for sure. But DSP had, when he was having one of his mini rants about John Rambo, he was like, why can't John just text me? You know what I'm saying? Actually, matter of fact, it might have been during the DSP, during the John and Howard response when DSP chose to react to it. I can't remember now. But he had said, well, why can't John just reach out to me? My phone number hasn't changed. I talked to my wife. I think he said she was his wife at the time, or she was his wife at the time. I had talked to her completely through text through our entire relationship until she came over here. Now, I know that, actually, you know what? I know James Lester for sure has it. Because remember, James Lester was the one who found out about the Line app, which was linked to the WWE Champion situation. And he based his theory of that based on how DSP responded towards that question about John Rambo. About, hey, my number hasn't changed. He can reach out to me. Well, I don't understand why he's having a problem with texting. Why should I have to, call and talk to him? I talked to Kat, or he had talked to Kat throughout their entire relationship before they moved in, and she didn't have a problem with it. Keep that in mind. Big ups to James Lester.
She also was going through a really tough time. We were both going through really personally, really bad things in our lives at the time. And
same bad things that he ended up weaponizing later. Ironically enough, you don't know what I'm talking about. Side scroller interview towards the end. It's not funny, actually, to be honest with you, given the amount of torture Kat went through in her adolescence. When he blurted out at the end, oh, did the detractors tell you about when, Subaru Man was beating her? Did they discover that? Did they find that? Keep in mind, if you look at the context of how he used that, he was doing it to defend himself. So if this piece of garbage is willing to air Panda's ass out to make himself look good and to make himself feel better for the situation she, quote unquote, put him in, are you surprised that he didn't air out fucking Kat's personal business? The way DSP does anything is the way he does everything.
what ended up happening was we ended up kind of being there for each other at a time when I was incredibly vulnerable and lonely.
So you couldn't be there for Panda, but you could be there for another faceless woman halfway across the country that you barely knew. Make that make sense.
And she was going through stuff, and I was able to help her, and she was able to help me. All right. And initially, that's really just what it began as. And then that's why I think he was talking to her before Panda left. To be honest with you, because listen to what he's saying. It was just talking. You know what I'm saying? He needed emotional support. She needed emotional support. He was going through shit. She was going through shit. The timeline's muddy. I get that. I roger that. But that doesn't mean that the intent wasn't there. So for as far as we know, I'm going to reach here. Okay, I'm on some Yoda Flame shit. He could literally have been talking to Kat as early as December or January of 2016. I'm going to say January. But he could have been speaking to her as early as, you know what I'm saying, as December of 2016. Just putting that out there. Well, we ended up finding...
I get it, to reach, okay? I see you in the comment section saying, man, I don't know, man, you reaching, Golden, GTG, you reaching. I get it. I roger that. I put myself out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'll take all criticisms that come my way. That's what I'm thinking.
Finding out, as we talked more, is that we pretty much had a ton in common when it came to our personal...
That did not age well. That did not age well. Holy shit, we have a ton in common, and then we see them actually interact with each other over the last few years. You guys don't have shit in common. You were two desperate people. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. You had two desperate people who needed each other and were willing to go into a contract, into an arrangement, an arrangement or a relationship of convenience for them to get from one place to another. Maybe that's the only thing they really had in common, to be honest with you. But whatever, it is what it is.
Personal lives, but also our pasts and stuff like that. We had both been through a lot. And we were both people who were looking for something way different than what we had previously had in regards to companionship. Okay. And
so she don't touch you, you don't touch her, and you just pretend like you're a happy couple? Okay. How'd that work out?
I'm trying to figure out how I can tell you guys, again, without revealing any personal info. Basically, over the course of this year, all right, what started as just like a friendship budded into something else.
See, here's the thing. Another reason why customer and seller, good shit, Snort. No, another reason why I think their relationship, or they were talking far earlier than what is the established timeline, is because look at what he did with Panda. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, nah, she was 18. Some of y'all are like, nah, he was talking to her before she turned 18. I'm in that camp. I'm in the latter, more than former. It's because DSP displays patterns of behavior. Yet again, it's very possible that he was talking to Kat on some quote-unquote mutual friendship or trying to establish a friendship type thing, just talking, long before they actually established a relationship and then whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yes, the horse was complicit in the horse robbery, right? You know what I'm saying? In the horse stealing, if you will. But either way, he has a pattern of doing that. He was on Panda's neck and whatnot for months before it was actually established that they were even in a relationship, which is what gives people like myself the probable cause to believe that he was talking to her when she was 17. So if you apply that logic to this situation here, could you not see, I'm not saying you have to agree with me, could you not see the correlation of him speaking to Kat while he was still in a relationship with Panda, and as early as 2017? Something to think about.
To me finally getting to spend some time with this woman, and you know, after spending personal time with the
Yeah, because you got to throw everybody off that scent that you're gay, right, Phil? Oh, that's so funny.
Woman having an amazing time and realizing we really clicked, we really got along in person, to the point where now, and for I'd say probably for the past 4 or 5 months, we're constantly talking, we're constantly in contact, supporting each other. You know, she has done things for me and said things to me that no one else ever has before. I really feel, I'll be honest with you.
So, Snortbernell, I feel like Panda is trying to give him a blowjob or at least a hand job at one time or another. So, I guess you could say it's rather cruel of me to do all this. I don't care. It's still funny.
You know, not to say a 5-year relationship is nothing, but this woman, out of anyone I've ever been with in my life, dated, I feel like we're soulmates.
Yikes.
What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
Now, some of you may not understand that if you've never been in that situation, but sometimes you just meet someone and there's so much right going on when you're together and or when you talk, right? And not to say that we're perfect people and we're absolutely the perfect match, because I don't think anyone is. On this planet, I don't think you're ever going to find someone who 100% you're compatible at all times, and you know what I mean? That's not what it's about. Actually finding someone who you work with means that you find a perfect balance. Maybe this person has attributes and traits that you don't, but maybe you have a lot of commonalities as well, and when you two come together, you become kind of a perfect mesh. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel right now. Now, this is someone who I started talking with over the summer. Like I said, I've had the opportunity to spend 3 really nice long visits with her.
That was delicious.
Oh! I missed that edit. I missed that shit. Stormfront doesn't use it as often, but holy shit, it's hilarious. That shit is hilarious. Okay. Holy shit. Shit's hilarious. Okay. So, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this. Okay. So, this idiot is telling us that he met this chick during the summer, right? Cold turkey. Never had any real prior experience with each other. They met during the summer. And you're supposed to have me believe that he meets her in, let's say, June. They start talking. Like I said, the first time they actually publicly spoke to each other was in June. I'm supposed to believe that he was inviting her to the Snort fort as early as October late September, October, at least October. I'm pretty sure it's the first time she showed up. As late as October. Well, no, actually, I'm not even sure if the first time was in October. And I remember they went to go shopping for a Halloween costume for him. I remember that. She was there for that. She was there to dress his Christmas tree. Was she there for no, he wasn't. She wasn't there for Thanksgiving though, because he was eating, I think he ate like a hungry man that day or some shit. So maybe she was there before that. So maybe in September she might have popped up in there. Late September, maybe. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. But here's the point. So let's just say our starting point is like September, October. You meet this chick in June. And I'm supposed to believe that DSP met this random chick in June of 2017. And he was comfortable enough to bring her to the Snort port as early as September, October? No. 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 No, not at all. No. Now, if he was talking to this chick as early as January of 2017, then you have the public tweet in June. Then she starts the visiting around September, October. I could probably see that. I could probably run with that timeline. But not the former. I don't think I can. I can't in good faith go with that. That seems wrong. There's something off about that.
And or a few other things in between, but she doesn't live here. So it's not someone who I can every day go see. And that's the worst, is when you have a long distance relationship and especially you have a really bad day and you really need that support and that person can't be physically there for you. That is huge. But, you know, we're toughing it out and we're finding a way out, especially, you know, when we're not together. Like I said, this morning, the first thing I did when I woke up is I talked to my girlfriend. And it feels so different. It really, honestly, feels different than any other relationship I've ever been in. It feels to me like she gets me and I get her. You know what I mean? Rather than, oh, it's just someone I like to spend time with. It's more like an actual, like I said, soulmates. That's how I feel when I think about her. All right?
To me, it's funny to see the idiots believe it.
Okay.
That's what's funny to me, to see how dumb
Sound
people
like a
are.
schoolgirl.
Actually
Holy
believe
shit.
that dumb shit.
And, you know, it's funny because some people have said this year, you know, wow, Phil broke up with his ex-girlfriend of 5 years and immediately jumped into another relationship. And
Yeah, he monkey barred right to the next chick that will take care of him. That's exactly what he did.
now he's rushing it. Now he's talking about having this girl move in with him. How ridiculous. It's obvious that he's just, you know, he's rushing in, blah, 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 blah. The truth of the matter here, folks, again, is that I broke up with my ex-girlfriend in April. All right? So we're talking, there was a good 2-3 months where I wasn't talking to anybody. And then I met this girl randomly. It was chance that it was literally a chance, complete randomness. I wasn't looking for anyone. She wasn't looking for anyone. It was just like circumstances somehow came together that we would meet each other. All
Whatever.
right? And talking and realizing that we had so much in
What
common.
are you reading? One of Panda's like romantic novels or some shit? Is that how you is that how you fucking conjure up or cocked up this fucking cockamamie story and shit? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? God damn, son.
And we both had these situations where we were going through bad times and we could help each other out, and it just butted into something else on top of that. It was so organic. It was something that naturally happened. It wasn't something that was forced in or anything like that. And by the way, it wasn't.
I mean, forced in, is that you admitting that you harassed Panda for months on end until she finally agreed to be your girlfriend? Is that what that means? You know what? Whatever. Maybe I'm reaching. Maybe I'm making bigger, even grander assumptions, if you will. None of this shit sounds right. None of this shit sounds right.
Like, oh my god, she's a starstruck fan of mine, and now she's madly in love with me because she likes my YouTube videos.
Oh, wow. Are you going to paint Panda off like a groupie? Even though, if you guys know the story, that's not what the case was. She messaged him once and said that she liked his videos, and he just obsessively kept messaging her, you know, after that. And then eventually he started to insert, "We be my girlfriend, we be my girlfriend, we be my girlfriend." And she badgered him for months on end until she finally agreed. So keep that in mind. Holy shit.
It wasn't like that at all, okay? It was more like
But now he's trying to paint her off like Panda was some groupie who was lusting for the penne. What the fuck?
started talking and we clicked, you know, talking to each other.
it was a natural attraction. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life. My God, you people are stupid if you believe that shit.
Via, you know, having that naturalness rather than someone who's like, oh, I was a big fan of Phil beforehand, and now I'm a starstruck fan who gets to be his girlfriend or anything like that. It wasn't like that at all, alright? So that being said, without revealing too many details, behind the scenes starting in the summer, alright, the summer time, I started to see someone else on and off when we had time and when we could make available to be together because, like I said, she doesn't live here.
On and off? Why, were you talking to other women too? What the fuck maybe you don't understand what that actually means, but alright.
She does not live in Seattle. And she's not always able to come out here to see me, you know?
Then again, he said that about Panda too, that they dated off and on for a long period of time too. Make of that what you will.
Because of circumstances. I started to have this new relationship that really has turned into something really beautiful, okay? But I really kept it a secret. I mean, I didn't even tell you guys about it until, what, a few weeks ago? But maybe a month ago? I don't think it was a month ago. I think it was a few weeks ago, right? Where I really revealed to everyone that, you know, that I had...
No, he hinted at it back in September. In September, he kind of hinted at it.
A girlfriend, and boy, was that tough. It was tough because, you know me, I got a big blabbermouth, and I like to tell you guys everything, right?
A silver-tongued talker, right?
And man, was it this year in particular, keeping things a secret about what's going on with my ex-girlfriend and that relationship falling apart, and then not telling you about my new, you know, it was real tough to keep stuff secret, but I did my best, right? I really did. Okay? So, that being said, I finally had moral support again. Even though she wasn't able to be here every day, I finally had moral support again, which I needed so much. And you guys may have noticed that I started getting more positive. I started feeling better. I started coming out, right? The streams ended up being even more positive. You may have noticed about middle of this year, all of a sudden, I started to not be drinking all the time anymore. And I started to, you know...
No one could really tell. Slop was slop.
Even though my sleep schedule was thrown off, it's a lot different when you're talking to someone all night and having a positive conversation and just having a good interaction with someone versus you're all alone and depressed, right?
Oh, now I got a dollar tip from Tevin. Now, who knows if it's the real Tevin, who's a fucking another hemorrhoid on my ass, right? I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature...
Even though people in DSP's own audience used to watch Tevin, though. Oh, shit, so at least they enjoyed it.
Adult. He asks, did you mention Laveria? No, I didn't. You know what? I should. Whoa. I got $100 tip from Alcade. Are you a functional retard? I have to ask. By the way, a bunch of idiots in stream chat are spinning. Why would Phil pay Leanna's bill? Why did Phil pay Leanna's hospital bill? I
think he paid her cell phone bill for a period of time too, actually.
Didn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
So then wait, so you went on that bitch fit about how are they gonna give you a bill and they haven't even looked at you yet? What the fuck? And $1,500 or whatever that shit's gonna be this, that, and third. So you made that whole huff about that damn hospital bill, crying like a bitch, and now you're saying you didn't pay it when obviously he paid it. Obviously he paid it.
Sounds like you're listening to detractors because you're stupid. Sorry, it just sounds like you're stupid.
Yes, that's your only retort. No, it didn't happen. No, what proof? I mean, not to say that, you know what I'm saying? He was going to provide any evidence himself. Just you're stupid. Gotcha. I roger that.
Because I didn't say I ever did that.
So you guys and gals, your contributions are literally saving my ass. However...
Oh boy.
I know, there's always another however. There's always another twist, right? What I'm nervous about now is that the taxes that I've been paying all this year for federal taxes were...
Pushing the goalpost back. Just pushing the goalpost back.
Based off of last year's estimated income, what I made last year. I can already tell you guys, you guys have been so generous this year that I know I made more money.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
In 2017 than I did in 2016. Guess what that means? I'm going to owe more taxes than what I've paid coming up in April.
No shit. As your income goes up, you're going to owe the government more money. Like, this isn't some type of novel fucking... This isn't some type of an epiphany that you just had or shit, or some novel thought that just came about. That's just how the world works. You've been paying taxes for all these years and you're just now realizing that? Fucking mongoloid. Holy shit.
Because I've only...
Maybe it's a good thing that his branch of the fucking Burnell bloodline dies with him. Because, good God. Good God. That the fucking one mongoloid that comes out of that shit ends up fucking making it to a position of power, let alone be president. That would be scary. That would be scary.
Paid based off of as if I were going to make the same amount of money, and I know I made more this year. So now I got another big tax payment that's going to come due in April. Oh, by the way, there's this whole new tax plan that Republicans just passed.
I wonder if he's skimming on his taxes. He has to be cheating his taxes in some way, shape, or form. There's a bunch of ways to do it. Like, there's a bunch of ways to fudge numbers to make shit happen. I won't go into that right now, but there's a lot of ways to do it. So it makes you wonder.
In the United States, and no one's sure how it's going to work yet.
And with DSP's penchant of withholding information or whatever, just like what during the bankruptcy, for example, that's a perfect example. How many times did he fucking change his filing for the bankruptcy? How many times did he switch that shit up? As soon as sorry, some of those really smart people over there on the farms were crunching numbers and giving estimates. All of a sudden, DSP's paperwork is looking a lot like what was pulled off the farms. Coincidence? I think not.
I may end up owing less taxes for 2018. I may end up owing more. And I don't know until the actual tax information law gets given out to tax attorneys so that they can do all this work. So, again, it seems to me like no matter, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? So,
I need to raise money in order to save my ass from these state taxes out of nowhere that came up out of nowhere. So people come out, we're supportive of Phil, let's cheer, let's sub, let's tip. They do it, great. Now I'll get past the state taxes, but now federal tax. Oh, now you owe more because you made more money. Now,
fucking mongoloid. Like, this shit really is like a breakthrough for him. Like, this is like, wow, I have to pay more if I make more? Jesus Christ. No, it wasn't as if he wasn't writing damn near everything off anyway. So what the fuck?
where does this money magically fucking come from? You know what I mean? There's always something.
My future plans. All right. What do I have planned for the future? Well, because that's what I said. I have 2 New Year's resolutions for 2018. The first one is to find a way through this tax situation I'm finding myself in and keep my house. That's number 1. All right. Number 2 is to have my girlfriend move in with me, sooner the better in 2018.
The sooner the better, huh? Already ready to get her out there in the plantation, huh? Ready to get her out there in the fields and start working, huh? God damn, dude. She's already ready to plow the fields. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Already got her ready to teal the fields. Shit. Just plow. Let's just say plow the fields. Let's say that shit. Fucking A, Phil. God damn, bro. Like I said, utilitarianism. If you don't serve a purpose, you in the way. You are useless if you do not have a purpose. Holy fuck.
Because right now, number 1, like I said, it's the best relationship I've ever been in my life. Okay.
I feel like she's my soulmate. I do. I truly do. And I am in love with her.
You could see it too. Like, he almost said, "I love her," and then he caught himself. Like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Well, yeah, especially if you don't mean it. You shouldn't say shit you don't mean.
Absolutely. She's in love with me.
Yikes. Yikes.
Wow.
And if she were to move in, number 1, she has a job that she, can probably find a job out here similar or whatever and make income to help immediately.
I thought you said she transferred from her job in Michigan to a job over there, though. Now you're saying that she could find a similar job. All right, man, whatever. I'll nitpick all this shit later. I'll nitpick the hell out of all this shit later.
Number 2, cooking and everything, helping with the responsibilities of the house so I can get back to how I was. So I'm not.
So having the woman take care of everything while you sit upstairs and slave away at your blue collar fucking job. Which, what's that prove, ladies and gentlemen? That Panda literally did everything around the house and he didn't do jack shit. Womp womp.
Constantly over.
And then he tried to fix that by warming up hot dogs, warming up fajitas and whatnot. Warming up fajitas, making cat stir fry, occasionally making a turkey burger, which are more than likely things he didn't do with Panda. So keep that in mind.
Worked and stressed.
This is the same mongoloid who doesn't even know how to use an air fryer. How the fuck are you in your damn near in your you are in your mid 30s, getting ready to get started, hit your 40s, and knocking on that door, and you didn't know how to use an air fryer? You know those things come with instructions, right? All right, maybe not. Maybe you didn't know that. Okay, maybe you threw it away in the box.
because I have to rush to cook meals or whatever and everything like that.
Inside of people, there is this desire to just control, hurt, take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds like projection. Most certainly, Phil. That does sound like you.
Just do what gives you pleasure and fuck everyone else.
You know, and number three, quite
I mean, under those circumstances, that would definitely make him evil. For sure. But we'll save that. We'll save that. We'll save that. I'm gonna catch back up with Dwight, and we're gonna have ourselves a nice conversation about that. Big ups to Dwight.
honestly, I want to be with her. It's killing me to not be with her. Today, this morning, you know, talking with her, and it's Christmas, and we're like, it's our first Christmas together, but not together. It's awful because we need each other. We need that support, and we're not there for each other physically right now, and it sucks.
The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
And that DSP relies on that. DSP's been dependent on that. That's why he's so mad at detractors, trolls, haters, and critics in the current day and age. He mad as shit. There's so many people that can suss his ass out, and they do it in their own way. You know what I'm saying? There's so many opinions about him that still lead to the same conclusions more often than not. And he hates that shit. He hates that shit. And that's why he just said this not too long ago, but he's been saying it over the last couple of years that SOK was actually a good thing, and they were policing their own community and shit. He thinks like SOK was keeping everybody online and shit, and that's really just a small demographic. And even then, that didn't last long. So it is what it is on that. But basically, he was endorsing gatekeeping. But of course, that makes sense because if you've covered my FGC coverage of DSP and whatnot, he himself endorses gatekeeping. He believes in it. You know what I'm saying? He thinks it's something that should happen, unless he's on the other end of it. Then of course it's bad.
So, you know, the sooner she can move in with me, the better. I don't know. I mean, literally, I can't even think about it until I get past late January with the tax situation. Once that situation is taken care of, then at least I can entertain it. All right. But right now, I'm between a rock and a hard place. Where unless I can get past the taxes in January, I can't even begin to plan out the rest of my life, which is what sucks. I feel like I'm in suspension. I'm in suspended animation.
And if you really think about it, that's why he was so panicked about give me the money in January so I can move her in February, which is exactly what happened. So womp womp to that.
Because of the actions of a tax attorney who fucked me over and I have no restitution against.
Sure.
And trolls who fucked me over and I have no restitution against.
Sure.
Isn't that nice?
I'm not a whiny baby.
It's terrible, right? But that's my life right now. The good news is, in 2018, if I can make things happen and come together, and maybe my girlfriend can move in with me and I can keep this house, all right? Positive change. Number one.
She was just another part of the business plan, basically. She was just another part of the business plan that he tried to sell like this was an actual relationship. And if you think about it from that standpoint, it's even more egregious. Holy shit. Since
now, I'm going to get back into the swing of things, right?
And I'm not a children's entertainer.
I've already decided I want to start doing stuff that people have been asking me for a while. A lot of people have been asking me for cooking with the king. Well, guess what? If I start making new meals and recipes with my girlfriend...
That didn't happen. Well, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. He tried to paywall the shit out of that, and that just didn't work out.
I would definitely revive the series.
Stop being a moron. Seriously, stop. I'm serious. Stop. Positivity could come back in a major way if I can.
And he was quick to, and keep in mind, he had this chick, meaning Kat, he had her completely give up all of her social media, and then he was trying to figure out ways to monopolize her in his own fucking content. So not only did this chick need to cook, clean, and get a job, but then she has to be part of the content too. Jesus Christ. That's tough. But then if you see where we're at now in our current day and age, it all makes sense. In a sick sort of way, it all makes sense.
Number one, keep the house, and number two, if she can move in. So give me monies. A lot of positivity possible, but I have to get, you know what I mean? I have to survive. I have to survive and get to that point. And
facts. SnortBucks is absolutely right. Surviving is all he does. That's all he does. He doesn't actually, and I'm not even really surviving. He really only exists. It's not really so much about surviving. It's really just existing, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? That's really all it is. You know what I'm saying? Holy shit.
not constantly be worrying about now taxes that I owe and this and that because of fucking things that people have done to me, you know?
Christmas Day.
Look at that shit. If that's not peak holiday 220, I don't know what is. Oh, wow. Can't even dab properly. Holy shit. He can get that Nazi salute down proper, though. He's good for that, but can't dab worth a damn. That's crazy.
There you go. Holly Jolly Christmas Day.
It's like a 5-year-old kid, you know? Whoa, Infinite just did a 1200-bit share. I got paid for your stupidity. I love it when I see the stupidity. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh, easy to eat. Oh, Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar.
Old.
I have a micro.
It never gets old. Oh, fucking A, bro. Fucking A.
All right, I'm not dead, but I swear to God, I wish I fucking was.
Big ups and thank you to SnortBucks. Holy shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen. There you go on that. Oh, fun times, man. I gotta tell you. Goutmas this year has been really, really fun. Holy shit. Great times. All right. Should still be a few more videos left in the clip, so don't get me wrong. It's not over yet. But I am very grateful for how Goutmas went, how the year went in general, to be honest with you. And so thank you guys very much for your time and everything else. I very much appreciate it. It means a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So another day of Goutmas in the books. I will see you guys tomorrow to further the campaign with whatever comes next, because there will always be something and whatnot. Season's greetings and happy holidays to you guys either which way. Take care of yourselves, people. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wow. Later, people.